Welcome to Nightly Knowledge, where today we experience a journey back in time to the sands of ancient Egypt. Imagine yourself standing on the edge of the desert as the golden sun begins its slow descent, painting the sky with soft shades of orange and pink. In the distance, the River Nile glimmers like a ribbon of life, winding its way through a land of sand and stone. The air is dry, warm and heavy with the scent of dust, yet it carries with it the promise of something extraordinary. You are about to step into the world of those who built the Great Pyramids. Contrary to many old tales, these pyramids were not raised by endless lines of slaves whipped into submission. No, the truth is far more human and perhaps even more impressive. The men who worked here were skilled, respected, and organized into a community unlike any other. They were farmers, craftsmen and builders, who during the flood season, when the Nile made farming impossible, offered their strength and skill to a cause greater than themselves. They built for the gods, for their pharaoh, and for the eternal order of the universe. Now, let us walk with them. Ahead of us lies the village where the pyramid builders live. It is not a grand city like Memphis or Thebes, but rather a settlement built for purpose. Mud brick houses, simple yet sturdy, line the narrow streets. Their walls, baked hard by the desert sun, glow softly in the evening light. Each home is small, but inside you would find warmth. Clay jars filled with grain, reed mats laid carefully on the floor, and the laughter of families who gather at the end of the day. As we enter, the village greets us with sound and life. Children play in the dust, chasing each other between the houses, their bare feet kicking up clouds of golden sand. Women tend to the evening meal, grinding wheat into flour with stone grinders, baking bread on clay ovens, and stirring pots of lentils or onions. The air is filled with the smell of baking loaves, bread, the heart of the Egyptian diet. Nearby, men return from their duties, carrying baskets, tools, or simply the weight of another long day. They speak with pride, for though the work is hard, it is sacred. This place is more than just a settlement. It is a community built on cooperation and respect. Every man and woman knows their role, and together they form the living machine that makes the impossible possible. While some carve stone, others prepare food, repair tools, or weave clothing. There is no shame in any task, for all are part of the same grand design. In the evenings, after the heat of the sun has passed, the people gather in small groups. They share stories, laugh, and sometimes sing hymns to the gods who watch over their work. As the desert wind cools, let us pause and look toward the horizon. There, rising against the fading light, is the silhouette of the Great Pyramid under construction. Its massive sides gleam faintly as if kissed by the last rays of the sun. Even in its unfinished state, it commands awe. It is a mountain made not by nature, but by the hands of men, tens of thousands of hands working in unison. For the workers in this village, that view is both humbling and inspiring. Each stone placed is a step toward eternity, and they are part of that eternal story. The life of a pyramid builder is not easy, yet it is far from hopeless drudgery. These men are well fed, often better than farmers in the countryside. Each worker receives daily rations of bread, beer and onions, sometimes even meat, as a reward for their labor. They are organized into teams, proud of their identity, and often compete to see who can achieve the most in a day. Some leave graffiti on the stones they place, playful marks that survive thousands of years later, whispers from the past that say, "We were here. We built this." But tonight, none of that labor weighs on their minds. Tonight is about rest and preparation. As the last light fades, the village becomes calm. Torches flicker, casting soft golden glows across mud brick walls. Families gather around, their meals sharing laughter, bread and beer. The stars begin to appear one by one above the desert, piercing the darkening sky with silver light. In the distance, the pyramid looms, silent and eternal, watching over the village like a guardian of stone. Let us imagine the thoughts of one man in this settlement, a new worker, fresh from the fields of the Nile. Perhaps he has never been this far into the desert before. The air feels different here, dry and endless, the landscape vast and humbling. His hands are rough from farming, yet tomorrow he will put them to new use, hauling stone, carving blocks, or dragging sledges. He sits outside his home, staring at the pyramid in awe. Tomorrow he will be part of its creation. Tomorrow he will carve his place in eternity. Inside his home, his family prepares for the night. His wife lays out mats of woven reeds, soft enough for sleep. His children curl beside her, whispering questions about the pyramid, their eyes wide with wonder. He answers softly, telling them that they are helping to build a house for the gods, a place where the pharaoh will live forever. He tells them it is noble work, work that will make them proud for generations. And as he speaks, his own heart swells with a mixture of pride and nervousness. The desert night deepens. The wind cools, carrying with it the distant sound of jackals calling. Above, the stars multiply, stretching endlessly across the heavens. For the ancient Egyptians, these stars are not just lights, they are symbols of eternity, guiding the souls of the departed into the afterlife. Our worker looks up at them, wondering if his labor tomorrow will bring him closer to the gods. He closes his eyes, feeling both small and significant, a single man in a vast universe, yet one chosen to build a monument that will outlive him by millennia. The village grows quiet. Fires burn low, children sleep, and only the occasional murmur of voices remains. The pyramid stands silently in the distance, half complete yet already magnificent. Tomorrow it will echo with the sounds of thousands of workers, the scraping of stone, the shouts of foremen, the rhythm of hammers. But tonight it sleeps, and so does the village. And with that, our first day ends, not in the sweat of labor, but in the calm before it begins. A new life is waiting, a life of dust, stone, sweat, and glory. For those who live here, this is more than work. It is purpose. It is devotion. It is the chance to build eternity with their own hands. So let us rest with them now, in the silence of the desert night, under the endless stars, as the promise of tomorrow lingers on the horizon. The desert is quiet, but not for long. In the deep hours of the night, before the first hint of light touches the horizon, the village of pyramid builders begins to stir. The air is still cool, the sands holding only the faintest warmth from yesterday's sun. Stars still hang over the desert sky, shimmering in silence. But within the mud-brick houses, small fires are rekindled, faint glows pushing back the darkness. It is the beginning of another day, and for the men of this village, time waits for no one. Inside one of these homes, our worker slowly opens his eyes. The reed mat beneath him is stiff, his body heavy with the anticipation of what lies ahead. Around him, his family still sleeps. His wife turns softly, and the children murmur in their dreams. He rises carefully, not wanting to disturb them, and steps outside into the cool night air. The village is hushed, yet alive. Shadows of neighbors move quietly through the narrow lanes, some carrying torches, others simply walking under the dim starlight. The smell of bread baking drifts gently from one corner of the settlement. Women prepare food for the men before their long march toward the pyramid site. It is a simple breakfast, flat bread baked on clay, onions, and jars of beer. The beer is not like the drink of today. It is thick, nutritious, almost a liquid meal. The workers eat in silence, saving their strength for the hours ahead. With each bite, they remind themselves, this food fuels not just their bodies, but the work of eternity. That as he finishes his meal, our worker joins the slow-moving crowd leaving the village. Together they form a stream of figures, carrying tools, ropes, or simply their hands. Their footsteps press softly into the sand, a rhythm of thousands moving as one. Above them the last stars fade, and the first light of dawn paints the sky in pale gold. The desert awakens, and with it so does the great work. As they near the pyramid, the sight overwhelms them. Even half-built, it is staggering. A mountain of stone rising from the sands, its sides glowing faintly in the rising sun. The scale is almost beyond comprehension. Each block weighs tons, each layer carefully placed to form a perfect structure. For the men who walk toward it, there is pride, but also awe. They are building something larger than themselves, larger than their village, larger even than their lives. The site itself is a world of motion and sound. The closer they come, the more the silence of dawn is replaced by noise, the scraping of stone, the clatter of sledges, the calls of overseers directing teams. Dust hangs in the air, stirred by thousands of feet. The pyramid stands not as a silent monument, but as the heart of a living machine, a place where human strength and divine purpose meet. When the workers arrive, they are divided into their teams. The system is precise, almost military in its organization. Each group has a task, each man a role. Some are stonecutters, their copper chisels sharp and ready to shape the blocks. Others are haulers, straining their muscles to drag sledges loaded with stone across the sand. Still others work high up on the growing structure, guiding blocks into their exact position with ropes, levers, and teamwork. Our worker is assigned to the haulers. With a dozen others, he takes hold of the thick ropes tied to a massive block, resting on a wooden sledge. The foreman shouts the command, and together they pull. Sand shifts under their feet, sweat quickly gathers on their brows, and the block begins to move. Slowly, painfully, but surely. Each man leans his weight into the task, feeling the strain in his arms, back, and legs. Yet they move in rhythm, encouraged by the calls of their leader and the chants of their teammates. The sound of work fills the air. Hammering, shouting, scraping, dragging. Thousands of men working together, their combined strength shaping stone into eternity. The pyramid rises inch by inch, block by block, each moment a small step in a vast journey. The heat of the sun grows, the coolness of dawn fading quickly into the unforgiving blaze of day. Sweat runs down faces, mixes with dust, and forms lines on skin already hardened by labor. From time to time our worker pauses, wiping his brow, catching his breath. He looks up at the pyramid towering above him, higher with each passing week. He wonders how it will look when finished, its smooth sides gleaming in the sun, capped with shining stone that reflects the heavens. He imagines the pharaoh resting within, his soul rising to join the gods, guided by the stars. It is a thought that gives him strength, reminding him that his labor is not for nothing. The work is hard, but it is not without reward. The men receive regular rations, their bellies kept full, their strength maintained. Bread, beer, onions, and sometimes meat are distributed with care. Overseers ensure no one goes hungry, for hungry men cannot build pyramids. These meals are not just sustenance, they are symbols of respect, proof that their service is valued by the pharaoh himself. By mid-morning, the site is alive with a rhythm all its own. Teams chant as they pull, their voices rising above the din. Stonecutters strike their chisels in unison, sharp cracks echoing across the desert. High above, men signal to one another, guiding ropes and levers to place each block with precision. It is a ballet of muscle and mind, of sweat and calculation, where each movement counts and each man knows his part. The sun climbs higher, and the air grows heavy. Shadows shrink, and the pyramid itself glows with blinding light. Dust sticks. To skin, sweat drips endlessly, yet the men keep working. For them there is pride in endurance, pride in knowing that the gods watch, and that their names may be forgotten, but their work will last forever. As the day moves forward, the workers begin to slow. Muscles ache, hands blister, yet they continue. Overseers walk among them, shouting encouragement or scolding slackers. Priests move quietly through the site, offering prayers and blessings, reminding the men that their labor is holy, that every block placed is a gift to the gods. This mixture of divine purpose and human effort drives them forward, even as the sun burns overhead. At last, the call is given for a pause. Tools are set down, ropes released, and the men gather in shaded areas or sit along the base of the pyramid. Rations are distributed. Bread, beer, and onions passed from hand to hand. The workers eat eagerly, laughter returning to their faces as they share food, jokes, and stories. For a short while, the weight of stone is replaced by the comfort of companionship. The pyramid may be built of stone, but it is held together by the spirit of these men, by their strength, their camaraderie, and their belief in a common cause. Our worker chews slowly, savoring the taste of bread baked in his village, the bitterness of beer that quenches his thirst. Around him his team rests, their bodies weary, but their spirits unbroken. In the distance, the pyramid looms above them, its silent mass a reminder of the work still ahead. Yet for now there is peace. For now there is shade, food, and the bond of men who labor side by side. The break will not last long. Soon the foreman will call again, the chants will rise, and the great ballet of stone and sweat will continue. But in this moment, under the harsh Egyptian sun, the pyramid builders breathe together, proud of their part in something eternal. The short pause fades quickly, as it always does. The men rise from their shaded spots, brushing dust from their skin and finishing the last drops of beer from their jars. The overseers call them back, their voices carrying over the sand and stone. The moment of rest is gone, replaced once more by the rhythm of labor. The pyramid site breathes again, alive with movement, with shouts, with the sound of hammers striking stone. Our worker takes hold of the rope once more, his hands raw but determined. He joins his team, their bodies leaning into the weight of the sledge. The block groans against the wooden runners, sand spraying as it shifts. With a chant to keep their pace, they pull together, step by step, drawing the stone across the desert floor. To the casual eye, it may look like brute strength alone. But there is more to it than muscle. There is order, there is rhythm, and there is technology, simple yet powerful, that makes this great work possible. At the heart of it all is the sledge itself. Wooden runners carved smooth, soaked often with water to reduce the friction between wood and sand. Without this trick, the blocks would tear at the desert floor, refusing to move. But with water poured before the sledges, the sand hardens just enough to let the stone glide. What seems impossible, tons of rock dragged by mere men, becomes, with ingenuity, a task that can be done again and again. Other blocks are rolled on logs, pushed by groups of men who grunt and strain as the wood beneath them turns. Each time a log slips free from the back, it is carried forward and placed again at the front, so the block continues its path like a great beast walking on many legs. The system is slow, repetitive, and exhausting, yet it works. And above all, there are the ramps, long sloping paths of packed earth and stone that snake up the sides of the growing pyramid. Some run straight, others twist around, spiraling higher as the structure grows taller. Along these ramps, blocks are dragged and rolled, pulled upward step by step. The ramps are wide, filled with teams working side by side, their chants echoing. As they push their burdens higher into the sky. From the ground, the pyramid looks like chaos. Dust, shouting, men swarming everywhere. But to those within it, there is a strange order. Overseers move through the crowds, directing each team, Scribes record deliveries, tallying blocks to ensure nothing is lost. Priests sprinkle water on the ramps, blessing the paths so the stones may rise in harmony with the God's will. Every detail is watched, every mistake corrected. To build a pyramid is not simply to move stone, it is to master a system so vast that it seems almost alive. Our worker pulls step after step, his muscles burning. The chant of his team keeps them steady, their breaths falling in rhythm with their strides. The block rises slowly along the ramp, each moment a struggle, but each moment a victory. Around him other teams work in the same pattern, hundreds of men united by one task, lifting the earth toward the heavens. When the block reaches its place, it is not simply dropped. Precision matters. A small error at the base becomes disaster. At the peak, men with levers and ropes guide the stone inch by inch into its exact position. The sound of wood creaking, of rope tightening, fills the air as the block slides into place. And when it rests at last, a cheer rises from the team. One stone out of millions, yet it matters. One stone closer to eternity. As the sun climbs high, the site becomes a theater of movement. Everywhere men strain and sweat, their bodies glistening in the heat. Dust clings to their skin, rises in clouds with every drag of a sledge, every hammer strike. The sounds of work form a strange kind of music. Chants, cracks of stone, the scrape of sledges, the distant call of an overseer. It is a symphony not of instruments but of human labor, a ballet of stone and muscle. Behind this effort lies knowledge, passed down through generations. The angle of the pyramid is no accident. It is measured with chords and plumb lines, checked against the stars themselves. Astronomers align the structure with the heavens, ensuring that the pharaoh's resting place will be in harmony with the gods. Surveyors pace out distances, marking each line with precision. Builders follow these marks with devotion, trusting the wisdom of those who guide them. Even the tools, simple as they may seem, are crafted with care. Copper chisels, sharpened each day, strike the stone with surprising power. Wooden mallets drive them deep, shaping edges, until each block fits perfectly against its neighbor. The men who wield these tools know their craft well. Their hands are steady, their eyes trained to see what others cannot. It is not just strength, but skill that shapes the pyramid's form. For our worker, these details are distant. He does not study the stars or carve the stone. His task is raw, unending strength, yet even he feels the order within the chaos. He knows his team matters, that their chants keep them united, that their ropes tie them not just to stone but to one another. Without them, the block would not move. Without them, the pyramid would not rise. Hours pass beneath the burning sun. The men grow weary, their steps slower, their voices hoarse. Yet the work continues, block after block, ramp after ramp. Dust coats the inside of their mouths, sweat stings their eyes, but they endure. For what choice do they have? This is their duty, their pride, their place in the great design. At last, another pause is called. The men release their ropes, letting the sledge rest. They gather once more in the shade, collapsing onto the ground, breathing hard. Their hands tremble, their muscles ache, but their hearts are steady. Bread is passed again, beer shared, onions chewed. These small comforts mean everything, binding them together in the face of endless labor. Our worker sits with his team, leaning back against a block, still waiting to be lifted. He stares up at the pyramid, its unfinished sides glowing under the midday sun. Already it is taller than he ever imagined, its steps climbing toward the sky. He wonders how high it will rise, how many more stones will be carried, how many more days he will walk these ramps. The thought is heavy, but also inspiring. To be part of this is to be part of history itself. Around him, others laugh despite their weariness. They joke about the overseers, about the heat, about the endless beer. Some hum tunes, others stretch sore limbs. The sound is softer now, less frantic, as if the entire site is exhaling for just a moment. Soon the overseers will call again, and the ballet will resume. But for now, there is a fragile peace dot. The worker closes his eyes briefly, listening to the hum of voices, the distant call of cranes, the flap of birds circling high above. He feels the sand beneath him warm but solid, grounding him in the moment. This is his life day after day, stone after stone. Hard, unrelenting, yet filled with a strange sense of purpose. He does not know how long the work will last, or if he will see the pyramid's completion with his own eyes. But he knows that what he builds will outlive him, his children and their children. The stones will stand long after his name is forgotten. And in that thought, there is comfort. The overseer's voice rings out once more. The men rise, groaning, stretching, gathering their strength for another round. The ballet begins again, the pyramid waits. And so they pull. The mid-afternoon sun beats down on the pyramid site, relentless and hot. Dust clings to every surface, covering skin, clothing, and the rough stone beneath their hands. Yet within this harshness, life continues. Not just the labor of moving blocks, but the smaller, quieter rituals that sustain body and soul. For the pyramid builders, faith and health are inseparable from work. To build eternity, they must care for the vessel that carries them through it. The human body, our worker, still leaning against a massive block, wipes sweat from his brow and watches the priests making their rounds. These men are older, clothed in fine linen, carrying jars of water and offering incense. With each step, they sprinkle blessed water over the workers, whispering prayers to the gods. Ra, the sun god, watches over the day, ensuring that light reaches the laborers. Ta, the divine architect, guides the hands that shape stone, and Anubis, guardian of the dead, is honored even now, a reminder that their work is connected to eternity beyond life itself. Faith is visible in everything. Before lifting a particularly heavy block, a worker may touch the stone, tracing hieroglyphs or rubbing it gently, as if asking the gods for strength. Small charms, amulets of copper or faience, hang from necks or wrists, tokens meant to protect from harm, from accidents on the ramps or the sudden slip of a sledge. The men do not question these practices. They are part of the rhythm of life, as essential as the rope or the lever. Each action, each chant, links human effort to divine order. Health is another constant concern. Despite their strength, the men are vulnerable. Blisters, sprains, and cuts are common. Doctors, or more accurately healers, move quietly among them, examining hands and feet, rubbing ointments made from honey, herbs, and oils into wounds. Broken bones are rare, but when they occur, teams stop. For a fractured limb is a danger, not just to one man, but to the rhythm of work itself. Each worker's body is a small universe, carefully tended, understood, and respected. Food and drink play a central role. The midday pause brings bread and beer, but also onions, garlic, and sometimes fish from the Nile. These are not luxuries, they are necessities. Nutrients restore muscles, repair skin, and keep energy flowing. Beer, thick and sweet, is both hydration and nourishment, providing calories and strength for the grueling afternoon ahead. Workers share what they have, passing bread from hand to hand, offering the first bite to a neighbor, a small ritual of camaraderie and trust. The priests remind them, gently but firmly, that their labor is sacred. Every stone lifted, every ramp climbed is a form of worship. Work itself becomes prayer, sweat a kind of offering. Men murmur words under their breath, asking the gods to steady the ropes, to protect the haulers, to bless the stone. Even the overseers bow slightly as they pass, acknowledging the divine presence woven into every task. This is not superstition. It is a worldview in which life, labor, and the gods are inseparable. Children are not far away, often watching from the edges of the site or playing among the mud brick houses. They learn early that health and faith are intertwined. When they cut themselves while helping fetch water, a parent applies honey and whispers a prayer. When they stumble and fall in the sand, another hand lifts them, a whispered blessing in the same breath. The village is a classroom, the pyramid a silent teacher, and every day a lesson in resilience, ritual, and responsibility. As the afternoon advances, the sun climbs to its zenith. Workers stretch, walk slowly, sip beer, and sometimes murmur protective prayers to Ra. They know the heat is dangerous. Heat stroke and exhaustion are constant threats. But careful pacing, frequent pauses, and attention to the smallest signs of fatigue allow them to endure. There is wisdom here accumulated over generations, how to move stones, how to balance strength and rest, how to survive in a desert that demands obedience. The healer moves among them, carrying a small satchel of herbs. He checks hands rubbed raw by rope, feet blistered by the sand, shoulders sore from pulling sledges. His touch is practiced and gentle, knowing the value of a worker's body not just to himself but to the team, to the pyramid, to the pharaoh. A small wound treated today might prevent disaster tomorrow, a lesson in foresight and care, a link between mortality and eternity. As the sun begins its slow descent, the rhythm of work slows. Teams finish their lifts, place the final blocks of the day, and step back to admire the rising structure. Dust swirls in the golden light, sparkling like tiny stars in the desert air. Shadows grow long, stretching across ramps and ramps of stone. Men sit together, sharing food, laughing softly, recounting stories of their labor. This is the quiet end of a day's devotion, a moment to honor both effort and the divine guidance that makes it possible. Evening rituals follow naturally. Water is poured over feet and arms, washing away the grit of the day. Men and women sit together, recounting prayers and small blessings, thanking the gods for strength and health. Firelight flickers over walls, casting the village in warm, moving shadows. Stars begin to emerge again, reminding all that life is part of a larger, eternal design. Our worker returns home, his body aching, his mind full of images of stone and sky. His wife has prepared a simple meal, bread, onions, lentils. They eat, together quietly, sharing food and fatigue. Children gather around, curious about the day's progress. He tells them gently about the blocks, the ropes, the ramps, and the chants that kept them moving. He points to the pyramid in the distance, now glowing softly in the dying light, and whispers that tomorrow they will continue, guided by the gods, sustained by the care they take for one another, and protected by the rituals that bind life and labor. Night falls fully, and the village becomes still. Fires burn low, shadows deepen, and only the occasional voice breaks the silence. Our worker lies on his mat, muscles sore but heart steady. He reflects on the day, on the sweat and stone, on the chants and prayers. He knows that health, faith, and labor are inseparable. To build eternity, he must honor his body as much as the gods. Tomorrow will bring more work, more stone, more rhythm. But tonight the village sleeps and the pyramid waits, silent and eternal. The stars above, countless and shimmering, mirror the stones beneath, each one a marker of time, a witness to human devotion. Each worker a small but essential part of a vast design. The pyramid is more than stone. It is a testament to faith, to care, and to the strength of a community that moves as one, lifting both earth and spirit toward the heavens. In the stillness of the desert night, our worker drifts to sleep. His body rests, but his mind remains entwined with the work, the faith, the rituals. He dreams of ramps, ropes, and glimmering stars, of gods watching silently as human hands shape eternity. And in that quiet, the rhythm of ancient Egypt continues. Unbroken, eternal, and profoundly human. The day's work is done. The pyramid rises higher with each block laid, and the sun has finally disappeared behind the distant dunes. The desert cools rapidly, and the village takes on a soft golden glow in the last light. Shadows stretch across mud-brick walls, weaving patterns in the narrow streets. Men and women move slowly, their bodies tired but spirits unbroken. It is a moment between effort and rest, between sweat and reflection, a pause where stories are shared, bonds are strengthened, and the weight of labor is eased by companionship. In the center of the village, small fires flicker to life. Smoke curls upward, carrying the scent of burning reeds and dried herbs. Around these fires, workers gather, forming loose circles. Some sit on mats, others on low benches, or directly on the sand, their legs stretched out, hands resting on tired knees. Children huddle close to parents, curious and wide-eyed, absorbing every word as if each story carried the rhythm of the Nile itself. Our worker finds a place near one of the larger fires. His muscles ache. His hands are rough from the rope and stone, but his heart is steady. He watches his fellow laborers, noticing the simple acts of connection. A hand placed briefly on a shoulder, a shared smile, a small joke about the stubbornness of a stone block. Here in this quiet hour, the pyramid is not just a monument of stone. It is the center around which life revolves, a shared purpose that binds the village together. One of the elders begins to speak, his voice low but clear. He recounts stories of past projects, pyramids built for pharaohs long gone, of workers who left marks on the stones, graffiti that survived the centuries. Children lean closer, imagining the men in those ancient times, imagining their chants echoing across the desert. The elders' stories are more than entertainment. They are lessons, reminders of skill, patience, and the value of cooperation. Every tale carries a moral, a whisper of guidance, to endure, to honor the gods, to care for one another. Laughter rises occasionally, breaking the soft rhythm of storytelling. A young man recounts a near mishap from the morning, how a stone almost slipped off a sledge and sent a team scrambling. Everyone laughs, the tension of the day melting into the warm glow of firelight. Even the children giggle, recognizing that mistakes are part of learning, that every block, no matter how stubborn, is an opportunity to grow stronger. Food and drink accompany the stories. Bread, baked fresh in village ovens, is broken and shared. Onions are passed hand to hand and jars of thick beer circulate. Each bite and sip is more than sustenance. It is ritual, a reaffirmation of community. Eating together, speaking together, laughing together. The village strengthens the bonds that will carry them through another day of labor. Our worker listens to the tales, reflecting on the lives of men and women around him. He realizes that strength is not just physical, and endurance is not just measured in hours of toil. True resilience comes from shared purpose, from trust, from the knowledge that each person matters. If one man falters, the team suffers. If one heart loses faith, the rhythm falters. And so around these fires the pyramid is rebuilt, not with stone but with stories, with laughter, with human connection. As twilight deepens, the elder begins a quieter tale. He speaks of the gods, of Ra and Ta, of Anubis guiding souls, and of Osiris who judges the dead. He tells how the stars are not merely lights in the sky, but pathways for the spirit, connecting life and eternity. Children gaze upward, their eyes wide, imagining their own futures among those stars. Adults listen too, finding meaning in the quiet patterns of the heavens, comfort in the idea that their work is observed by forces greater than themselves. Stories shift naturally to reflections on health and survival. Workers share remedies passed down from parents and grandparents, how to soothe blistered hands, how to avoid the dangers of the sun, how to treat a sprain or a fever. There is a humility in these exchanges, an acknowledgement of vulnerability, yet also pride. Knowledge is power, and every lesson learned contributes to the safety and success of the entire village. The fire crackles, sending sparks into the night. Shadows dance on the faces of those gathered, exaggerating lines, wrinkles, and the gentle smiles of weariness. Our worker feels a sense of belonging deeper than he has ever known. Here, fatigue is transformed into reflection, and reflection into connection. Every laugh, every story, every shared piece of bread is a mortar, binding the community together as firmly as any stone in the pyramid. Night deepens, and voices soften. The elder falls silent, leaving only murmurs and the occasional laughter of children. Stars blanket the sky, brighter now that the sun has vanished. The desert is quiet, but not empty. The village sleeps lightly, dreams mingling with the rhythm of the Nile and the faint echo of stone being moved far away on the pyramid ramps. Our worker returns home with his family. Mats are laid out, small offerings of food remain, and the children curl up beside their mother. He sits quietly for a few moment, reflecting on the day, on the stories, on the subtle ways in which human bonds shape the world around them. He understands in a deep and silent way that the pyramid's greatness is mirrored in the village. Both are built from countless small acts, both are sustained by cooperation, and both reach toward eternity. He lies down, closing his eyes under the soft sounds of night. The village sleeps. The pyramid looms in the distance, and the stars watch silently. His body rests, but his mind drifts through memories and stories, through chants and blessings, through lessons of endurance and care. Every detail of the day, every stone lifted, every word spoken, is part of a larger design, a ballet of human effort and divine presence, linking life on earth to eternity above. And so the day ends, not with the clatter of stone, but with reflection and story. Faith, health, and community intertwine seamlessly, preparing the workers for the days ahead. The pyramid stands silent and magnificent, yet alive with purpose, as does the village that supports it. Tomorrow the rhythm will begin again. Tomorrow, strength and skill, sweat and song will lift stones toward the heavens once more. Tonight, however, there is peace. The fires burn low, the air cools, and the villagers dream beneath the canopy of countless stars. Their stories are carried in whispers on the wind, their prayers rise to the gods, and the pyramid waits, eternal and patient. A monument not only of stone but of human spirit, connection and devotion. The village is quiet now. Fires burn low, shadows flicker softly across mud-brick walls, and the hum of voices has faded into whispers. Children sleep, curling beside their mothers, and the adults lie on reed mats, muscles aching, bodies weary, yet minds alive with reflection. Night has descended fully over the desert, and with it comes a different kind of work, not of stone and sledge, but of thought, memory, and prayer. Our worker lies beneath the open sky, feeling the cool breeze sweep across his face, a relief after the relentless heat of the day. His eyes trace the stars, countless and glittering, each one a guide, a marker, a symbol of eternity. The pyramid, silhouetted against the deep indigo of night, rises like a mountain of shadow and promise. Though he cannot see the final form it will take, he feels its presence, its weight, its significance, and he allows himself a moment of quiet awe. In this hour, the human mind stretches beyond the mundane. He recalls the chants of the morning, the rhythm of pulling blocks, the strain in his arms and back. He remembers the blessings of the priests, the touch of the healer on his blistered hands, the laughter shared by the fire. And now, in the stillness of night, these memories mingle with dreams and hopes. He imagines the pyramid completed, gleaming, In the desert sun, a monument not only to the pharaoh but to every hand that helped build it, including his own sleep, comes gradually, folding him into its embrace. And in dreams, the line between mortal and divine blurs. He sees himself on the ramps, pulling stone with countless others, yet the pyramid stretches impossibly higher, reaching toward the stars. Gods move among them in these visions, Ra's golden light warming their shoulders, Ptah guiding the hands. That chisel stone, Anubis watching silently, judging and blessing. The dreams are not frightening but solemn, instilling a sense of purpose, a feeling that even in slumber he is part of something eternal. In these nocturnal hours, he also recalls the stories shared by the elders, tales of workers from generations past, of triumphs and mistakes, of gods who intervened and signs that guided the living. These stories are not mere entertainment. They are lessons, anchors for the mind, reminders of resilience, morality, and the interconnectedness of human lives. Each narrative becomes a thread, weaving him into the tapestry of his people, linking past, present, and future. Even in dreams, he feels the pulse of the village. He imagines neighbors tending to fires, women grinding grain for the morning, children carrying small stones or fetching water. He sees the healer applying salves, the priests whispering incantations, the overseers ensuring order, all part of a larger rhythm that sustains life and labor alike. The pyramid is central, but it is only one element of a vast, intricate world of relationships, faith, and purpose. Sometimes anxiety creeps in, visions of stones slipping, of ropes breaking, of muscles failing under the weight of eternity. But the gods intervene in his dreams, offering guidance and reassurance. A whisper of Ptah reminds him to trust the rhythm, to honor the process. Ra's light warms his shoulders, easing tension and instilling courage. Even the shadows of night seem protective, guarding both the village and the pyramid under the silent watch of countless stars. He dreams of his family as well. He sees his children growing, learning, taking up tools in their own time, understanding the importance of work, faith, and care. His wife smiles, strong and patient, sharing in his labor, not on the ramps, but in sustaining life, food, comfort, teaching, and blessing. In these visions, the human side of pyramid building comes into focus. Love, duty, hope, and the bonds that make endurance possible. The dreams carry him beyond the desert, beyond the village. He envisions a river of stone blocks flowing into the pyramid, each one a testament to strength and precision, each one a prayer made visible. He sees workers long gone, their hands echoing through time, their labor remembered not in names but in the form and permanence of the monument. Eternity itself feels tangible here, a space where mortal effort meets divine design. When he stirs slightly in his sleep, the night air is cool, carrying the scent of sand and the faint sweetness of baked bread from distant ovens. The village is still. Only the occasional animal stirs in the desert beyond. Jackals call in the distance, their voices carrying across the dunes, reminders of the wildness that exists alongside human order. In this quiet, even the simplest sound feels sacred, part of the music of life that surrounds the pyramid and the village alike. Morning has not yet arrived, yet the worker's mind continues to walk the ramps of the pyramid, balancing stone, chanting with his team, guided by invisible hands of faith and instinct. Each dream step is a rehearsal, a preparation, a mental endurance that strengthens his resolve for the day to come. Even asleep he is learning, remembering, honoring the rhythm that will demand his strength at sunrise. Sleep deepens, and the boundary between dream and consciousness softens. The pyramid seems alive, breathing with the workers, expanding with each lifted block, towering toward the heavens. He feels a profound connection to the builders who came before him, to the overseers and priests, to the gods who watch silently. This unity, this network of trust, devotion, and labor, is more enduring than any stone dot the stars above. Countless and constant, mirror the stones below. Each one shines silently, a guide and a witness to the lives unfolding beneath them. And our worker lying on his mat becomes both participant and observer, dreaming of labor and devotion, of struggle and triumph, of human effort reaching toward eternity. In these hours of nightfall and dreams, the human and divine intertwine seamlessly. Faith nurtures courage, care nurtures health, reflection nurtures resilience. Tomorrow the rhythm of stone and sweat will resume, but tonight, in sleep and vision, the worker finds strength beyond the physical, insight beyond the immediate, and a sense of belonging to something vast, sacred, and eternal. As the night slowly yields to the faint light of approaching dawn, the village remains calm, the pyramid silent, yet poised for another day. The dreams of the workers will linger, guiding hands, steadying hearts, and preparing every soul for the labor, the ritual, and the communion with eternity that awaits. The first light of dawn creeps across the desert, softening the shadows of the village and casting the pyramid in a gentle golden hue. The night has passed quietly, yet the lessons of dreams and reflection remain in the minds of the workers. Muscles are sore, yet spirits are steady. Today, as every day, the rhythm of labor will resume, but now with a heightened sense of purpose, understanding that mastery, guidance, and legacy are as crucial as strength and sweat. Our worker rises, stretching slowly, feeling the warmth of the morning sun on his back. Around him the village stirs. Children stretch and yawn, women prepare bread, and men gather their tools. The pyramid in the distance seems calmer than yesterday, but only because the first rays of light have yet to illuminate the scale of the endeavor. Soon the rhythm of the workday will begin anew, and every action will echo lessons learned from those who lead, teach, and inspire. Leadership on the pyramid site is subtle but omnipresent. Overseers move with confidence, their voices carrying commands that are both precise and inspiring. Each has earned respect through skill, experience, and understanding of human limits. They do not merely instruct, they observe, anticipate, and adjust, ensuring the enormous machinery of labor runs smoothly. Their mastery is evident in the way they divide teams, assign tasks, and intervene at the smallest sign of struggle, preventing mistakes before they occur. Our worker joins his team, carrying ropes and preparing sledges. The foreman approaches, placing a hand briefly on his shoulder, a gesture of reassurance, of shared understanding. No words are needed. The touch communicates experience, knowledge, and trust. Every team member knows that leadership is not just authority, but guidance rooted in competence. The foreman's expertise allows men to exert themselves fully without fear, knowing that every movement is calculated, every risk mitigated. The day begins with ritual. The workers lift their tools, whispering silent prayers to Ta and Ra. Their chants are not mere superstition. They are affirmations of focus and unity, aligning human effort with cosmic order. Leadership here intertwines with faith, as experienced hands guide the rhythm of work while the gods watch silently. Each block lifted becomes a shared triumph, a proof of skill and discipline. The pyramid is alive with activity. Teams move in, orchestrated patterns, sledges slide along water-softened sand, and stonecutters hammer copper chisels with rhythmic precision. Here, mastery is visible in every gesture, the perfect placement of a block, the tension held just so in a rope, the way a log is rolled under a heavy stone to ease its passage. Leadership emerges not as dominance, but as competence that inspires trust and ensures the work continues without chaos. Our worker, though not a leader, feels its influence. The foreman's decisions allow him to focus entirely on pulling, lifting, guiding. He trusts in the hierarchy, knowing each command has been measured and refined over years. He watches the more experienced men in other teams, their hands steady, eyes calm, every motion deliberate. Mastery is quiet but absolute. It commands respect without demanding it, guiding countless human hands toward a singular purpose. Lunch arrives briefly, a pause to replenish strength. Bread, beer, onions, and occasional fish are shared. Yet even this pause carries lessons. Leaders demonstrate care, ensuring that everyone eats, that no one is left behind, that the rhythm of the day is preserved even in rest. Teams share stories of past successes, hints of technique, advice for handling stubborn stones or tricky ramps. Knowledge flows freely, passed from hand to hand, from voice to voice, ensuring that mastery is not confined to one, but diffused across many. The afternoon resumes with renewed intensity. Blocks ascend ramps, ropes creak under strain, and chants rise once more in unison. Leadership is evident in the coordination of effort, the precise timing of pulls, the distribution of weight, the subtle adjustments that prevent disaster. Every man participates, yet every movement is guided, a testament to the silent authority of those who have walked these paths before. Our worker pauses for a moment, wiping sweat from his eyes, and looks across the site. He sees the patterns, teams moving in synchrony, ramps supporting multiple sledges at once, overseers predicting obstacles before they appear. The pyramid is not merely stone, it is a living system, a manifestation of human ingenuity, skill, and organization. The legacy of those who lead is etched into its every angle, every ramp, every carefully placed block. Evening approaches, and with it, the final stones of the day are lifted into place. The site quiets gradually, workers slowing their pace, muscles trembling but hearts steady. Leadership continues even in this decrescendo, ensuring the transition from labor to rest is smooth, that safety is maintained, and that every man returns to the village intact. Mastery is not only in motion, but in knowing when to pause, when to guide, and when to observe. Back in the village, the fires are lit once more. Stories are shared, laughter rises, and the bonds of community deepen. Children sit close, absorbing lessons without fully understanding them, while adults reflect on the day's triumphs and struggles. Here the human side of mastery is revealed, not in the size of a stone lifted, but in the knowledge shared, the care offered, and the respect given. Leadership and legacy extend beyond the pyramid itself, into the lives of everyone who touches it, even for a fleeting moment. Our worker sits with his family, recounting the day in quiet tones. He points to the blocks lifted, the ramps managed, the foremen guiding with calm authority. He speaks of the importance of patience, of listening, of observing before acting. His children absorb these lessons intuitively, understanding that mastery is not only about physical strength, but about wisdom, attention, and care. As night falls fully, the village becomes still. The pyramid, silhouetted against a sky of stars, seems to breathe softly in the cooling air. Workers drift to their mats, bodies exhausted but minds alive with reflection. The lessons of leadership and mastery linger in the quiet, an invisible force that ensures tomorrow's labor will be as precise, as coordinated, and as enduring as today's. Sleep embraces the village. Our worker dreams once more, not only of stone and rope, but of influence and legacy. He imagines himself guiding others, teaching children, observing teams from above, ensuring that knowledge flows as surely as water from the Nile. The pyramid rises ever higher, a testament not just to human strength, but to wisdom, discipline, and the shared effort of those who lead and those who follow. In the stillness of night, the connection between labor, leadership, and eternity becomes clear. The pyramid is more than a monument. It is the embodiment of knowledge passed through generations, of skill honed and shared, of human effort guided by wisdom. Legacy is alive in every block, every ramp, every careful placement, a silent witness to the capacity of humans to organize, teach and endure. And as stars shine above, countless and eternal, our worker sleeps, muscles heavy, heart steady, mind filled with purpose. The lessons of the day will guide him tomorrow. And tomorrow, as every day, the dance of stone, strength, faith and mastery will continue, building not only a pyramid, but a world in which human effort, guided by wisdom, reaches toward eternity. The sun begins its slow descent over the desert, painting the horizon with deep oranges and purples. Shadows stretch long across the village, and the pyramid, towering over sand and stone, is bathed in a warm, fading light. The day's work is done, yet its echoes linger. Muscles ache, hands are blistered, but hearts remain steady. The rhythm of labor has ceased, and now the village, like the pyramid itself, pauses to reflect. Our worker walks slowly back from the site, carrying only the weight of his thoughts. Around him, the village is alive with quiet activity. Fires flicker in the mud brick homes, women prepare simple meals, and children chase each other along narrow streets, their laughter light but full of energy. The smell of bread and roasted onions mingles with the cool desert air. Everything is familiar, yet seen with new clarity after a day of monumental effort. He pauses at the edge of the village, gazing up at the pyramid. It rises against the sky like a solid dream, every stone placed with care, every ramp a testament to human ingenuity. The sun's last rays glint on the higher blocks, giving them the appearance of molten gold. The sight is humbling. Each block carries the story of hands that pulled, lifted, and guided it into place. The pyramid is more than stone. It is memory, endurance, faith, and community crystallized into a form that reaches for eternity. Walking through the village, he notices the subtle ways life continues around the monument. A young apprentice hammers carefully on a small block, practicing the precise techniques he observed during the day. An elder teaches a child how to weave reeds for mats, passing on skills as vital as the labor on the ramps. Women grind grain and prepare meals, sustaining the workers not just physically but spiritually. The pyramid may dominate the landscape, but it is the village that sustains it, that makes its construction possible, and that carries its legacy forward. The worker sits by a fire, joining others in quiet reflection. The conversation drifts from stories of past feats to observations of the day's work. How did a particularly stubborn block finally move? What technique proved most effective on the ramps? These details are not trivial. They are the accumulated wisdom of the community, shared and preserved for the future. Each tale, each lesson is part of the living architecture of knowledge that supports both the pyramid and its builders. Even the smallest acts carry meaning. A man carefully sharpens his chisel, knowing it will be used to guide a block into place. Tomorrow, another tends to the ropes, checking for frays and weaknesses, ensuring safety and efficiency. Each gesture, however quiet or routine, is a contribution to a work that outlives individual lives. Legacy, they understand, is built not only in stone, but in attention, care, and devotion. Our worker reflects on his own role. He has pulled countless blocks, labored under the unrelenting sun, and learned to trust the rhythm of the pyramid and the guidance of those more experienced. He feels a quiet pride. His hands, calloused and worn, are part of something eternal. He may never see the pyramid fully completed, but he understands that each day, each stone, each effort contributes to a whole far greater than himself. In this there is both humility and fulfillment. The elders speak softly, reminding the younger men and women that the pyramid is not just for the pharaoh, nor merely a display of power. It is a bridge between the human and the divine. a reflection of order, skill, and devotion. Every stone carries intention, every ramp guides not only weight, but the spirit. And the people themselves, through their labor and care, are part of this sacred equation. As night falls, the village grows quiet. The fires burn low, casting flickering light across tired faces. Children are lulled to sleep by the soft murmur of voices, by stories of gods and ancestors, by lessons learned from the elders. The pyramid looms in silence, monumental yet intimately connected to the lives around it. Its shadows stretch over homes and streets, touching lives as tangibly as any act of labor or love. Our worker sits with his family one last time before sleep. He recounts the day, highlights the lessons, and reminds them of the sacredness of their work. He explains how each action, no matter how small, contributes to a structure that will endure long after their names are forgotten. In this reflection, he finds peace. His labor has purpose, his presence matters, and he is linked to generations past and future through effort, skill, and faith. The night deepens. Stars blanket the sky, countless points of light echoing the countless blocks that form the pyramid. The worker feels the connection between himself and his peers, between the living and the divine, between effort and eternity. The pyramid, massive and immovable, stands as a witness to human perseverance, to the interplay of leadership, cooperation, faith, and knowledge. Its silent grandeur reminds him that while time will pass, what they build together endures. Sleep finally claims him. His dreams are filled with ramps, blocks, and stars, merging the physical labor of the day with the spiritual and communal lessons learned over time. The pyramid grows taller in his mind than even in reality, each block a symbol of care, discipline, and devotion. In these dreams, the past, present, and future converge, and the worker understands that his life, however brief, has meaning within a far larger story. Through the night, the village sleeps under the watchful gaze of the pyramid. The air is cool, quiet, and sacred. The fires burn low, carrying memories and lessons to the stars above. And as the desert deepens into darkness, the legacy of the builders endures, not only in stone but in knowledge, skill, and human connection. Each life touches another, each effort supports the next, and together they create a monument that transcends mortality. Tomorrow will bring the sun again, new challenges and new triumphs. But tonight, there is reflection. Tonight, the village breathes in the quiet majesty of what they have accomplished and what they continue to build. The pyramid, eternal in its presence, and the village, alive in its devotion, are inseparable, a testament to the union of human labor and the sacred. A bridge between fleeting life and enduring legacy. Dawn breaks slowly over the desert, soft and golden, spilling light across the village and illuminating the pyramid in its full, awe-inspiring scale. For those who dwell here, the rhythm of life continues as it always has. Labor, meals, rest. But there is also a profound awareness. The pyramid, ever growing, is more than a structure. It is a testament to every hand that lifted stone, every mind that calculated, every spirit that dreamed. Our worker rises from his reed mat, muscles tired yet steady, eyes tracing the pyramid's silhouette against the awakening sky. Today, like every day, the desert is alive with motion, but there is a sense of quiet reverence. The pyramid, now almost complete, seems to watch over the village, a guardian of both memory and purpose. It towers not only over the sands, but over time itself, whispering stories of dedication, skill, and unity to anyone willing to observe. The workers gather, preparing for another day of labor. Ropes are adjusted, sledges inspected, blocks aligned. Yet today feels different. There is a collective understanding, a subtle pride, that what they build will endure far beyond their own lives. They move with confidence tempered by respect, guided by the wisdom of foremen who have mastered not only the work, but the human spirit itself. Leadership here is quiet yet absolute, a force that channels effort into beauty and order. The pyramid rises block by block, each stone a silent story. Some blocks carry the marks of playful graffiti, the signatures of workers long forgotten, yet immortalized through stone. Others are flawless, shaped with precise care by artisans whose skill reflects generations of knowledge. Together, these stones form not just a monument to the pharaoh, but a living record of humanity itself. Its toil, its creativity, its devotion. Our worker, hauling a stone with his team, feels the rhythm of labor as a dance, a ballet of strength and precision perfected over decades. The ropes strain, the sledges creak, and the blocks inch forward, as if propelled by the combined will of all who labor. Around him voices chant, tools strike, dust rises and falls, and yet the pyramid remains serene, an embodiment of order emerging from apparent chaos. Midday arrives, and the sun bathes the pyramid in blazing light. The shadows cast along its ramps and angles are sharp yet soft at their edges, giving the stone a warm, almost living glow. The workers pause briefly, sweat dripping, muscles trembling, and for a moment they simply admire what they have achieved. Though the work is ongoing, the vision of eternity is clear, a monument to human perseverance built through collaboration, skill, and faith. Even the youngest apprentices feel the weight and significance of their contribution. They carry smaller stones, sharpen tools, or fetch water, yet each act resonates within the larger whole. The pyramid teaches them that mastery is cumulative, that knowledge and effort passed from one generation to the next create structures, both physical and moral, that can outlast lifetimes. As the sun begins its descent, the final blocks of the day are lifted. The sight quiets gradually, the dust settles, the tools are set aside, and the voices soften. Workers gather in small groups, sharing stories, laughter, and reflections. They speak of triumphs, of moments when a block moved more easily than expected, of lessons learned from mistakes. The pyramid, massive and silent, absorbs these echoes, each stone a listener to human history. Evening falls, and the village glows. With torchlight, fires burn in every home, illuminating faces lined with fatigue yet shining with satisfaction. Families gather to share bread, beer, and quiet conversation. Children listen to tales of the pyramid, of gods and ancestors, of the labor that has shaped not only stone but life itself. In this intimate space, the lessons of the day crystallize. Dedication, cooperation, faith, and respect are as enduring as the stones they have moved. Our worker sits outside his home, staring at the pyramid as it takes on the hues of twilight. The wind is cool, carrying the faint scent of sand and baked bread. In this stillness he contemplates the journey. Each day of labor, each challenge overcome, each lesson absorbed. He understands that the pyramid will stand long after he is gone, a bridge between the temporal and the eternal, a monument not only to kings, but to every hand that shaped it. Night descends fully, stars scattering across the sky like a blanket of diamonds. The pyramid rests in the silver light, its angles softened, its power silent but immense. The village sleeps, and the worker dreams, not of strain or toil, but of continuity. He sees generations to come, children playing along the ramps, apprentices learning techniques, future leaders guiding teams. Each human life, fleeting yet significant, contributes to an enduring legacy. In these moments, the pyramid transcends its physical form. It is a symbol of connection, between human and divine, between past and future, between individual effort and collective achievement. Every stone represents skill, wisdom, faith, and community. Every ramp, rope, and chisel stroke carries intention and care. And through it all the workers' spirits endure, immortalized not by fame or wealth, but by the monument itself, rising silently over the desert dot. Our worker, finally lying down beneath the stars, feels a profound calm. His body is tired, his mind reflective, but he knows he is part of something eternal. The pyramid, though immense, is not solitary. It is supported by hands, hearts, and minds, by a community bound together through labor, faith, and love. In need, for this understanding, he finds peace. A sleep overtakes him. The desert night wraps around the village and the pyramid. The fires burn low, shadows lengthen, and the stars watch silently. The work of centuries, the labor of countless souls, and the devotion of humans to both their gods and their fellow men converge in a single magnificent monument. The pyramid stands, not merely as stone, but as proof that human effort, guided by wisdom, faith, and collaboration, can touch eternity. And so our journey concludes, not with the end of labor, nor with a fanfare of triumph, but with quiet reflection. The sun will rise again, the workers will continue, and the pyramid will endure, silent, steady, eternal. In this story, in this moment, we are reminded that greatness is not born of solitary effort, but of the dedication, skill, and heart of many working together toward a purpose that transcends life itself. And so our journey through the lives of the pyramid builders comes to an end. From the first light of dawn to the quiet desert night, we followed their sweat, their strength, and their dedication. People creating something far greater than themselves, something that still stands thousands of years later. If you want more calm, immersive historical stories like this, subscribe and continue the journey through time, where each day brings a new chapter. See you in the next one.